Red light's on now, ready for a start.
Warren Millet's awake this time. Last year, he made an absolute shocker in the wake-up Commodore. He's certainly awake today. He's got it running towards turn one. Look for the fast guys to carve their way through. Ryan Hansford down the inside. Craig Donis covering the line, but Millet will beat them all to turn one.
Great start by Millet, so he heads the field into turn one. On board and further in the pack, bit of contact here with Ben Dunn.
Oh, that's Andrew Waite giving him a bit of a muscle, and Reece McNally stuck out wide and in the grass, and he's probably lost about 10 spots already.
So McNally there, probably a bit of an innocent bystander and all that, hung out to dry.
Oh, and Donis lunging Millet takes the lead at turn 5. Hansford comes along for the ride. Derhams is in there as well, and Donis has already had a bit of drama this weekend. He had a clash with Ryle Harris in practice session number 1, was not happy about it. Now he's fighting for the lead with Ryan Hansford, who we covered off earlier in the show as having a tough start to the year. He was strong here last year and he's going well again.
And you speak of his tough start to the year. He qualified 20th this weekend, his worst V8 Ute qualifying ever. Had a tough race 1, but he's putting plenty of pressure on Craig Donis now for the lead.
He had a disconnected gear shift in race 1. He managed to fish around and find something to grab a hold of and change the gears. But have a look at this, 31 Utes, nose to tail on this opening lap, and Hansford has got a run on the exit of the final turn. He's down the inside on Dontis. And that Ford, it's hauling the mail. And talking to some Commodore drivers this weekend, they reckon they're back to where they were at in round 1 in Adelaide, but the Falcon has got too much top-end speed for the Commodore boys liking.
And prior to that round, there was a parry adjustment for the Ford, so clearly the Falcon guys have probably picked up a bit of straight-line speed, but Hansford now slips up the inside, and that move was set up with a great run onto the front straight.
Auto 1 replay, that's Chris Walton going around the outside of Noel Edge, gets a bit of a rub. Oh, Peter Burnett through the scenery, bangs into the side of Noel Edge, who stays in it. Uh-oh, boom, unloads him. Payback?
Well, another replay here, so Burnett's got the wipers going on and everything. And really, Nunes, they tried to have that accident for about 3 corners and finally got the job done coming onto the straight.
They got there eventually, didn't they? Have a look at this. Millet racing hard with Giannis Derhams back in the series this weekend in that 3rd Cedars Racing entry. Millet out through the dirt. Gary Baxter has got a pretty good run. And Baxter, he's one of only 4 drivers who've done every V8 Ute round here at Hidden Valley. This is the 7th time that the Utes have been in Darwin, and he's a real stalwart of the category. And he's starting to charge his way forward, though a little bit worried about some of the bump marks on the side of that car.
He certainly knows his way around Darwin, that's for sure. And he moves up into 4th. Executed a nice move there on Millet. So Millet sat on the front row, now falling back a little bit.
Ryle Harris here putting a move on Andrew Waite. Ryle second in race 1. He's closed his way up in the championship picture, and I'm hearing from pit lane that he's using his spare tyres in this race. He wants to save up 2 good ones for races 3 and 4.
Really good strategy, considering this weekend that the Ute guys have an extra race, so tyre condition will be very crucial come the last race of the weekend.
And the boys better keep an eye on Ryle, because he's been doing a bit of Muay Thai boxing of late, so I don't know if he's going to use it on the racetrack. I would hope not, but he's really been quite quick. Have a look at these guys throwing these things through the scenery.
And I think I just caught a glimpse of Grant Johnson coming into pit lane. Yes, so dramas for the former series champion. So not the weekend that he was hoping for.
3-time winner of the round here in Darwin, 8th in race 1, but in pit lane at the moment. There is Chris Walton. He's moving his way through the traffic, as is Kim Jane on board the Bob Jane T-Mart's Commodore. He got done 27-second penalty in race 1 for a pass and an overlap with Cam McConville, so that's really hurt. But how about this? David Cedars started 17th. Chris Walton started 30th, and he's caught him within 4 laps.
Well, we really shouldn't be surprised with Walton. He has been on fire in these reverse grid races all year. We've seen him charge through the pack, so coming from 30th, I'm not shocked to see him up in the midfield.
This is on, this is wheeling. Ben Wilson a little bit wide in Jack Elsgood's car. That's ironic, because he actually ran Jack back a couple of seasons ago, and Ben raced in the Ute Series back when it was the V8 Brutes that long ago in the Pro Car days. So jumping back in this weekend and has done well. He qualified 5th, which is fantastic for a guy who's been out of the saddle.
On board now with Kim Jane. So Kimbo having to come back through the field from a lowly starting position due to his race 1 penalty. And you can just see how hard it is for these guys because there's always action around in these reverse grid races. Everybody is fighting for every bit of track, and no quarter is given.
Hansford leads, Dontas, Derhams, Baxter's fourth. Then Danny Bazadzik, Cam McConville making a lunge on Warren Millett. Fisher, Harris, Pretty, Waite, Cedars, Walton, Ben Dunn, Jeremy Gray, Wilson.
Trouble here for Ben Wilson.
Wilson, bang! I was doing the roll call, but he's been banished.
And there goes a Yokohama.
Come back. We need that. Stop. Well, it saw all the other tyres down the tyre wall, that's why.
He's going to join all his mates down there, but so Ben Wilson, big mistake into turn one. Saw him lock the left front tyre and couldn't stop, and Jeremy Gray, unfortunately,
it's still going.
Was just minding his own business and copped a big hit in the left rear, so he's out of action for the rest of this race, and no doubt that will cause a safety car.
Let's have a look at the replay. Auto 1 replay, locked it up, no chance of making it. Jeremy Gray, wrong place, wrong time, left rear gets absolutely demolished. In fact, I think half of the wheel is still left on the studs. It's just the tyre on the outside of the wheel that's been popped off. Cam McConville in pit lane. They're changing the left front Yokohama on that car. We're hearing maybe there's a broken rim for him as well. So that's an emerging pattern this weekend. Under safety car, Jeremy Gray's car's being moved away. We'll restart when we come back to Darwin. Racing in race 2, round 4 of the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series at Hidden Valley in Darwin. It's the reverse grid race, and we've got things cleaned up. We're back to racing, and Ryle Harris here in the Rexall Ford, starting to move forward in his Ford. He's trying to get through on Danny Bazadzik. He's going to give him a little bit of a wide move here. We're on board with Andrew Fisher, who is trying to take advantage and move on through, but pretty much from here to the end of the lap, James, you can't really pass.
No, you're right, Nerds. There's fantastic passing opportunities in the first half of the lap. We saw Ryle pull one off at turn 6, the hairpin in the valley, but yeah, this last section of track area at Hidden Valley, very technical, very tight, and no real opportunities to pass. So Fisher now will be looking to get a good run onto the straight so he can slipstream past and have a look up the inside of Bazadzik into turn 1.
And Fisher's pace in the races has been really good when you consider he missed practice 1 with diff failure. He only did 4 laps in practice 2. He's way down on track time compared to the rest of them. How about this? Cedars and Walter, we talked about them before the break. If you're David Cedars, you must be looking out the window going, where on earth's this guy come from?
He certainly has been on a charge, that's for sure, Walton. And apart from the left side of that Renko Falcon looking a bit beat up, the rest of it is looking pretty clean. So he hasn't had to use too much force to get his way through the field. But Fisher now going the long way, or the hard way, around Bazadzik into turn 5, but he gets that job done, and he's moving forward. So maybe that lack of practice is actually paying off for him.
Just behind Nathan Pretty in the Monster Commodore Championship leader. Remember, Millett locked up. He's been assaulted here by Cedars and Walton, who slips past the pair of them. That was quite easy.
It's the easiest 2 spots that Walter's probably made up in this race, and he would have just been rubbing his hands together at that side. So he's moving forward again. Kim Jane now on the back of Cedars. We see the Ute in front of us moving around.
Remember that these guys are not on slick racing tyres. They're on a grooved Yokohama Advan tyre. It's a bit of an all-rounder for wet, dry, and Ute conditions, really, which is basically everything.
And they certainly do copper hiding, especially up here in Darwin in the heat. And the Yokohamas generally always stand up to the test. So Ryan Hansford now has well, he would know that Craig Dontas is putting the pressure on, that's for sure, but he's only got a couple of laps to hold on for hopefully his first race win of the year.
And for Dontas, this would be his best race finish for quite some time. There's Baxter in third, Harris catching, lap and a half to go at Hidden Valley. Not really many places to do a move on, and Dontas is not close enough.
And the way that Ryle Harris has been moving through the field, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a look for third on Gary Baxter.
Remember that there's 35 points for a race win in each of the 4 races this weekend, and they get awarded points in qualifying. Look for Walton here. He's all over the back of Danny Bazadzik. Gets into the back of him maybe just a little bit. He's sideways, he's sliding, he's wide on the exit. But Walton, what a charge. This guy passes more cars in the reverse grid races than anyone I've ever seen in Ute racing.
Well, he's up to 7th in this race so far, Nudes. Just imagine where he would be if he actually started up the front of the field.
He'd be finished now. He'd be back in the tent.
Nathan Pretty now.
Now, he's got to be careful. He's throwing it off every single curb. We've seen some wheel rim failures this weekend, and talking to some of the drivers, they're just smashing the curbs, and that's what's causing it.
And all the exit curbs here in Darwin are actually sawtooth curbs, so when you drop the wheel over the back of those curbs, it can do damage to the rims, and that's what we seem to be seeing this weekend.
Last lap of race 2 here at Hidden Valley, and Baxter's hanging on, but not by much, because Harris has got some real car speed on board that machine. Andrew Fisher, pretty lonely back in 5th spot, hasn't had too much to do in the last couple of laps, but Ryan Hansford half a lap away from his first race win of the season, and his first race win since here in Darwin last year.
And I must admit, Nudes, apart from the incident we saw with Jeremy Gray and Ben Wilson that caused a safety car, this reverse grid race is usually action-packed.
Oh, well, it's been action-packed, but everyone's still going. That's the only difference. You only have to look at some of the doors, the panels, the wheels, the bumpers, and then you get the vibe that it's been busy.
Well, you're probably right, but look, Ryan Hansford now, he looks like he's got enough of a margin to be able to hold on for this race win, so he'll be happy. His truck line boys will be happy that they've got a race win this weekend.
Baxter's hanging on in the Sage Commodore. Last turn coming up, and Ryan Hansford is going to snatch his first race win of the season. Have a look at the marks down the side of that thing. He's worked hard for it today. He's got his nose in clean air, and he's going to bring it home. Race 2 in the top end will go to the second generation star. Have a look at Harris, though. Not done with yet on Baxter. That Falcon's got some speed, but not enough to snatch third.
And have a look at, talk about speed. Walton now gets Brzezinski on the line, and we spoke about having to work hard. Well, he has seriously worked hard. He has finished 6th, past an amazing 24 cars in that race.
And Craig Donis second. It's his best race result since Townsville last year. That's a long time between top twos, but Ryan Hansford picks up the win. Fastest lap of the race, David Cedars. He was fast. He got his way to 8th. Nathan Pretty hangs on to the title lead. He was 9th. And Kim Jane ran it out the top 10.
Well, Ryan, this